SA India caters to different sections of the professional mobility community. One is the professional engineers, the other is the student members. As Dr. Goenka earlier explained, this conference is a forum which brings the students, the government, the professionals, and also the R&D bodies to come together to exchange ideas along with international delegates, and also see plenary talks and keynote speeches from the renowned heroes of the automotive industry, and also gives an opportunity for the students, the professional members, etc., to present their papers and give exchange ideas with each other, and of course network with each other. So that would be the opportunity given by conferences such as these. Frugal engineering, green technology. I think what is happening, as most of you may be aware, the lead time for new vehicle development is coming down. The budgets are being cut, and it has to be done faster, in the sense, of course it has to be eco-friendly, means the cost of fuel is going higher, the inflation is higher, and people want more out of their vehicles. So number one, the development has to come down, development time has to come down, means it has to be done much more virtually on the computer before a prototype is built or it is tested out. So the technology with respect to the virtual prototyping is evolving, and that is where I think the engineers have to learn more and do the design. And the second thing is the cost of development, in the sense the budgets, means not only do we have to reuse from the existing designs, or we have to learn from the other platforms. For example, if a company is acquiring a specific company, so you have to take the technology from that particular company and then reuse it in your own this one. The third thing is the manufacturing. How do you go for a low cost manufacturing also? So it is not just a design itself, but also the manufacturing. At the end of the day, it is end-to-end solution. SAE, to begin with, predominantly focused on mechanical engineering. Then as the technology is evolved, in fact today about 35% of a vehicle is electronics. So you cannot just say that it's only mechanical engineers who are part of mobility engineering. It's actually electronics, it's thermodynamics, it's aerodynamics, and different disciplines, embedded systems. So it's different disciplines that are coming together. So in fact, what SAE has done is, it is an advancement of mobility engineering catering to aerospace, catering to off-highway, catering to regular vehicles, etc. So when we go to specific colleges or universities, or when we try to interact with different professionals, we try to organize a conference or an event that caters to multi-disciplines. For example, we would have participation from electronics, we would have participation from testing and facilities, we would have participations from government labs, we would have participation from companies, or we will have participation from the component manufacturers or the tier 1, tier 2 suppliers, etc. So it is a gamut of industries that participate. The focus today is towards greener technologies, hybrid electric or electric. In fact, in the developing world, China is leading in engaging and employing greener technologies, and India, I think, is lagging behind and it has to catch up. The primarily one thing is the incentive or the subsidies that have to be given for the manufacturers and of course the supply chain. Today the technology is affordable, it exists, and we can do it. However, for a country like India, if this has to be deployed on a mass scale, the infrastructure has to be there, number one. Number two, the government has to provide the initial subsidy, because even for example, a Tata Nano to take off or a Reva car to take off, it took the companies a while to convince the consumers that this is an affordable technology, this is a cleaner technology that they can take. But the government has to provide the subsidy, they have to provide the infrastructure, they have to encourage the people to do it. However, yes, because of the cost of the fuel, because of the number of vehicles that are growing on the roads, there is definitely a push for eco-friendly and much more fuel efficient vehicles. A skilled manpower in the industry is definitely important. However, the education system that we seem to have seems to focus more on theory and not on the practice. This has been one of the what you call the gaps between an engineer when he or she graduates. He or she is not able to be employed directly by the industry. There is a perception that the engineers are exactly not ready for absorption in the industry. So what the SAE is doing is, in fact, we go to the colleges at the third year and the fourth year, in fact, in some cases second year also. We train them to be employable by the industry. That is what we are doing right now. As an engineering perspective, from a theory perspective, yes, they are strong. However, what we are trying to help them is help them with the project training or implant training, or make them attend these kinds of conferences so that they are much more industry friendly and they can directly get absorbed in the industry. Student activities, as our SAE India President Mr. Dayal presented some slides, the number of collegiate clubs has been growing and the number of student members has been growing, and we have been offering multiple programs. One is the career start, where we are trying to engage the students to go into core engineering. It is good that Indian IT industry is growing, and it so happens that a good number of engineers end up towards IT. So we are trying to retain them more towards the core engineering, whether it's mechanical engineering or electrical or electronics engineering. We are trying to encourage them to stay in the core engineering. So career start has been a good success. Then of course, we are offering them what is called an ASOP, automotive student orientation program, where the students can go for in-plant training and they can also do some project training so that they can do it. And of course, going towards the schools itself, we have initiated what is called a World in Motion, AWIM. So even we are trying to catch them young and then watch them grow. So that is what we are trying to focus on. One more thing that we are conducting for the students is the student convention. In fact, we have a student convention on September 30th and October 1st that is being conducted at KSR Engineering College at Tirchangod. This is actually the 6th edition of the student convention. Every year it is conducted. This year it is being conducted off-site of Chennai. Last year it was conducted in Chennai, and the year before it was conducted at Amrita. So we are trying to conduct the student convention, and the number of students is only growing. I think last year we had close to about 4,000. This time we are probably expecting 5,000 students. Sustainability is definitely important. What happens is the technology that is developed in, let's say, in developed countries, and that has to be adapted for India. Number one, it has to be scalable in the sense, let's take the example of a mobile phone market. Okay, today India has about 600 or 700 million mobile phone users, and the cost of owning a mobile phone is actually coming down. And of course, the mobile phone users are growing, so there is a scalability of the particular technology or that particular business. To that extent, the automotive industry has not matured. In fact, this was actually quoted in the press conference, that the ownership of vehicles in India is far less compared to the rest of the world. So there is definitely an opportunity that exists, that is on the sustainability. Means the technology has to be affordable, it has to be scalable, so people can do it. And the smart mobility is not necessarily on the technology itself, but the people should be ease of use for the common man. Not only that, as the number of vehicle grows, we only have so many roads, we only have so much space, so we have to think differently on the mass mobility. For example, Delhi has the metro, then other cities are also having metro now, like Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, etc. So it is not just growing the number of vehicles on the road, it is also providing mass mobility to the general population. That is also that should also be the focus. One is please learn from the papers and the speeches that are being given, number one. Number two, network with the individuals as to whether they should pursue a career in the industry of their choice, or to go for higher education depending on what they want to do. And number three, as much as possible stick to core engineering. Yes, in some cases some people move towards MBA, I mean do MBA and move towards finance, or do move towards the software, etc. Fair enough, it is their choice, but as much as possible stick to core engineering and see if they can advance their careers in that particular aspect.